We're heading across to Tobago, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. We've been talking this morning. Well, I had a chat earlier about, a vaccine talk that's going to be happening this week coming up. And we're going to continue giving as much information as we can because I think it's important that everybody has all the information necessary. So we head across to Tobago. This morning we're chatting with Rion George, who's the Senior Corporate Communications Officer at the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development at the THA, as well as Mr. Louis Lewis, who's the CEO of the Tobago Tourism Agency and a friend to the show at this point. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
All right, so we're talking vaccines and we're talking tourism, right? And what's the connection between the two? Let's start there. Why do we need vaccines in tourism talks?
Well, you see, the important thing is that tourism is the lifeblood, the economic lifeblood of Tobago. And right now, there is absolutely no cure for the COVID-19 virus. And the vaccine is our best option for returning to some level of normalcy. And this vaccine talks that we are going to have this evening will draw the connection or draw the nexus between taking the vaccine and returning to some normal level of economic activity. And we'll be looking at connecting the dots between how the community shop in Delaford connects to the necessity for us to vaccinate and also how we can return to some level of business. So we'll be giving you the importance in a lot of details of how and why we should actually make that move for those who have not done so as yet.
All right, fantastic. So vaccine talks this afternoon at 5 p.m. It's happening virtually. It's going to be showing here on TTT as well. And Mr. George, can you tell me a little bit about what you guys plan to discuss in the vaccine talks this afternoon?
Sure, and morning to the viewers as well. Now, we did have the first round of vaccine talks about 2 weeks ago, and we had primarily the medical experts on that panel. And we delved into all the different fears that persons had, and persons actually got some individual time to ask, okay, I have an individual case, this is my condition, do you think I should take the vaccine?
Right.
And actually coming from that, we had probably 20-something, 30-something questions after the program, days after, with messages to the Facebook page, where we actually were able to send to the head of internal medicine at the Scarborough General Hospital, and he was able to answer their questions. So that was where the demand came. And then we said, you know what, we have to keep another one. But the secretary, she wanted to spin it a little to show that, yes, we have the medical experts. So we will have the medical experts on the panel, whom I will share the list of the panel shortly. But we wanted to add what's in it for me. This is a tourism-centric economy. And if we don't get vaccinated and we don't get back to a sense of normalcy, this is what could happen. So that's where Mr. Lewis came in, or comes in rather, with our panel to add that spin to it. But on the panel...
I know, but so Mr. Lewis is on the panel then?
Yes, he is. So that's why
he's... fantastic. Tell me who else is on the panel.
On the panel, we have Dr. Roxanne Mitchell, the Acting General Manager, Primary Care Services at the TRHA. And she is responsible for the vaccinations on the island on a whole. So any problems persons have with the vaccination process, whatever it is, she will be able to deal with that. We have Dr. Anthony Thompson. He is a COVID Task Force Response Team member from the County Medical Office of Health. And anything pertaining to contact tracing, to isolation, wherever it is in that sphere, he will deal with that. We also have Dr. Maxwell Adiemi. He has a lot of papers that he would have done, articles, different things, research on the topic of vaccines. So, I mean, we have quite a nice mix of persons who will be able to deal with any types of questions that persons pose. And the main thing is, any fears you have, we're trying to dispel the rumors, we're trying to inform persons so that they could be well informed and say, yes, I will take the vaccine.
Mr. Lewis, do you think what do you think are some of the things holding people back from wanting to take the vaccine?
I think there's as Rion suggested, there's a wide bank of misinformation that is floating around. And as a result of that, people have exercised some fear, and therefore that translates into resistance.
Right.
I think the talks this afternoon will clear up some of those issues. But at the same time, I think some people don't understand the importance of doing it. There is the medical side, which we have to overcome, but we also have to look at the economic implications of not taking it. And I think that's what to draw to the attention of the general public this afternoon.
So In terms of the tourism sector, though, have you gotten any feedback in terms of people willing or not willing to get vaccinated at this point?
Well, a number of people have come forward, and there is an initiative where we are collaborating with the Division of Health, where we coordinate persons who are willing to be vaccinated for them to receive it between Thursday and Friday of this week. We are appointments. But I would say that while the response has been positive, it really has not been overwhelming. And that is what we want to unlock that restraint. And it's all about addressing people's concerns and their fears, and also pointing out what are the economic implications of doing it or not doing it, you know, and how we are going to progress from here.
Yeah, I don't think you want the overwhelming response right now. I don't think you want it one time. I think we better off getting people converted slowly and surely so that they can match the number of vaccines that we actually have available as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we are putting a very orderly system in place so that it's a vaccination by appointment. So if we stick to that appointment system, we should be fine. Yeah.
How do people get appointments? In case people from Tobago might be looking on and they don't know yet as to how they can go about getting appointments. What is the system like?
All right, so for appointments, well, one with the priority groups, which would include, we started this the past weekend with the construction sector and the tourism sector. There are several associations, several bodies that we have been working with to pull the information together. So, I mean, Tobago, 60,000 strong, we're able to pull the information quickly by linking with the respective associations. And so that's where we started. But we have several ways that persons can register on a whole for vaccines. Simply calling 211. So if you're not into the technology, call 211 and 211 will be able to register you. We have the website, trha.co.tt. We have WhatsApp numbers. I can't remember them offhand now, but I'm quite sure once you're in Tobago, in a Tobago space, you will get it someplace on WhatsApp. There are different ways, and I mean, the appointment system has been working well for us. Yeah. Yes, one or two times that you have a little lines also, but we did bring up the Magdalena vaccination site over the weekend, and that has been quite flowing quite smoothly. I'm actually getting a lot of good reviews, and I'm looking to publicize those so persons understand that things are happening and good things are happening.
Tell me, Mr. George, in outside of the tourism sector, how have people been responding to being vaccinated?
And in the first instance, yes, it was a bit slow in coming, but persons are registered. We have, the last check was over 10,000 something persons would have registered and continuing to count. Or we would have just vaccinated. I don't have the numbers, so let me don't guess.
Yeah, don't do that.
But it's coming strong as we get the vaccines, as we have vaccines available. We have vaccinating persons are coming out. Different age groups are coming out. Once you fall within the priority groups. That is, because you would have younger persons with comorbidities, that kind of thing as well.
Yeah. So I mean, the aim is to get the population vaccinated so we could achieve herd immunity. That's the goal that the government has been, saying. We've been saying over and over. That's the goal that we want to get to. Mr. Lewis, tell me, in terms of after we reach that point, what's the next step to boost tourism, or have we already started those steps to boost tourism for post-pandemic?
Well, we have been engaged throughout the whole pandemic in what we call soft marketing. We have kept very close contact with our major trade partners. We have kept contact with the airlines, and we've been keeping Tobago's image alive. We've also prepared a strong bank of assets, digital assets, so that once the borders open and we start to market, we will have the tools to be effective. We have struck a number of alliances with what we call banks of travelers. So in the various communities, travel communities, like people who are looking for diving, people who are looking for biking, bird watching, and we've kept those communities quite active. What's missing, however, an adequate level of vaccination that does two things. One, makes us safe, and also signals to the rest of the world that according to the criteria that has been established in the source markets, we have to attain a certain level of immunity or vaccination. And once we can get to that level, we will be promoted, as well. So we've been very, very busy and very active in this downtime.
Is part of the message that we're getting out there is that you have to be vaccinated in order to enter the country?
Well, once the protocols have been established, we are going to promote them just as well, because That is the number one question everybody is going to ask.
Yeah.
What are the conditions for travel? Am I going to a place that is safe? And what is the chances of me coming back without contracting anything? So it's a two-way street. And definitely, we will be promoting that.
Does the Tobago Tourism Agency have any suggestions in terms of how it should be laid out? Like what should be the criteria for entering or not entering?
Well, we don't want to pretend to be medical specialists, and
right.
I think we'll be going outside of our scope. However, what we have been doing is that we are aligning the well-recognized safety and health protocols that have been established by a number of the international bodies and also the regional bodies as well. So there's the CAFA Safe Travel Initiative. We are aligning ourselves and the local partners with that. And you would have seen somewhere where we would have aligned ourselves with the TTC, which is the World Travel and Tourism Council Safe Stamp. So that is for the regional perspective, to encourage our partners to sell to be. And we will be working with our stakeholders to ensure that we are in that stream.
Nice. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing how things open back up and how we go forward. But I want to thank you both for joining us this morning. This afternoon, guys, 5 p.m., Vaccine Talks. You can tune in right here, Vaccine Talks Part 2. You can tune in right here to TTT at 5 p.m. Where else can we see it?
Yes, I wanted to add that. So at our local station in Tobago Channel 5, Tobago Channel 5's Facebook page, even on TTT, Facebook page, on the major radio stations in Tobago, actually the only radio stations in Tobago, 91.9 FM, 92.7 FM, 89.5 FM. You can call in live. You could send questions beforehand, 639-47111, and WhatsApp questions beforehand, 723-1939. Several ways to get involved. Share the word. I'm sure you know someone who is hesitant to take the vaccine. I can assure you, once they tune in, they could get their questions answered. They could get a little more information, and we will get them vaccinated as early as tomorrow.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Rion George, Senior Corporate Communications Officer, Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development at the Tobago House of Assembly, as well as Mr. Louis Lewis, the CEO of Tobago Tourism Agency Limited. Thank you both for joining us this morning, and all the best this afternoon. Tobago, tune in, 5 p.m. All right? Don't miss it for anything. We'll take a quick break and come back with more inside the morning show.